You senya young or chamina or the kind of kind. Yang Susudiana and Eva Besheno. Efa senya Christosum any asorino erinyi. Now so yang subang any yang ne de kwana ekofom. Eno ne yeba behwe na me commentary kakra me wa ha no 2021 woye census wo kan nipa wo Ghana ene nwuma ne ekeka ho wo Ghana no na Christianity e wo mu 71%. Enti yekura 100 yekura oha a Christosum wo mu eduoson baako. More than Professor Zinamohan, 70 is B. 70 is B. 2/3, yes. And so we have some now when you be and I say what pass it. It's not a Christus, somebody and Kayako any pa. Now, Yako any Misano sono. Now we share. As my American, but much more from a new move, Mebu non qua. Every share in Penufonso won't subang in the 1 year. Ya nere erokobone say wo hwe social media na wo hwe ne ampanfu ni bi ya bisa wo say na anya bia sebi onyinkọ na echi ana so onyinkọ na nim enti asema ye ba bekan obi afa na dwene nkọ obi aso enye mabu no nkwan ho asem na yereka ene enti ye hwe 71% since 2021 ebepim na de na che say yakọ anim kra brosa enti question ye bisa ye ho nne ne say so asori no ene Christosum no ye ne ene ye nkyerɛkyerɛ ni bi ɛna ɛrehye nipa ni bi kutupa na wɔre ye ne awɔre ye ana because say yɛnga ne yɛretetew nipa no de a denti na yɛ sɛ wɔde wɔso ababɔne saa na mɛka ne ne enti mi mpɛnfu ɛwɔ ha yi ne edi kan a mebisa mo ne sɛ asori yakasa asori the church and Christianity religion yembo tiny den ewo man mu yembo tiny den ewo wiase. What are our purpose, our objectives and role in the society? And see Chairman Pacho wa head obedi kan wa me
yo I'm saying main tiasini say the purpose of the church, our society, and they say, Yabashania, yes, ye. Na Yabrabo and ye war society, a to that line. Now, everybody to me says, Penya nipa society, now follow what the Bible is teaching us. So for us, Christ like life is concerned. Ebema yenya asumdwe baba wiase odosronko ebeba wiase impuntu baba wiase. I mean yebenya that kind of environment wangasa wa hom ebeka wo because we are living the Christ-like life. And you know that is what I think the purpose of Christianity is in the society. Thank you.
Now, sorry, me person me church sorry mo kakra ansa. You can't sorry an institution which is religious institution. A sorry institution onwa musaya system. Institution enya software nko a ye wa software na say leaders say session members ene clergy ne omo ekeka ho ansa na ye wo groups e wo one sorry mu be ni men's fellowship women fellowship JY no ni ade Bible study and prayer group no nyina aka sorry no apart from that enkwale wa sorry no children's service omu nyina ka ho na ya na individuals omu nyina ka bom ene ya sorry na yo omu nyina asudie se asori no ɛbotaa esi wɔn anim yɛwɔ asɔresɔre bebree na yɛka asɔre a yɛka ne yɛka Christian religion yɛ narrow no to Christian religion ne deɛ yɛwɔ yɛ Bible ɛyɛ Holy Bible ɛyɛ the centrality yɛbere biara yɛyɛ biara yɛ value system nyinaa wɔ hɔ ne yɛ narrow no koraa de ba yɛ Presbyterian asɔre a ne yɛwɔ cherish values and principles yɛasɛte ama yɛn ho a ɛwɔ se yɛ follow ɛyɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛaso de yɛsi yɛbɛdi so if you a woyɛ individual no koraa Micah 6:8 na ada no yɛkan wɔ ha no Awurade ka kyerɛ sɛ maka biribiara akyerɛ ma onipa fa woyɛ papa a woyɛ ma wo ho woyɛ bɔne nso a woyɛ ma wo ho nneɛma bebree wɔ yɛ Bible no mu a ɛkyerɛkyerɛ yɛn sɛ ɛwɔ se yɛtumi ɛsɔ mu yie na yɛtumi nso de akɔ abɔnten sɛdeɛ Yesu kae no yɛtumi de akorɔkyerɛkyerɛ afoforɔ atwetwe wɔn nso aba Yesu nkyɛn na sɛ yɛyɛ mu no ɛntumi anyi saa subampa ne di a ɛnea na abɔntenfoɔ no wɔn nso bɛyɛ dɛn na wɔn ahunu ne yɛpɛ wɔ asɔre mu na wɔn nso aba mu because sɛ yɛka religion di a Muslim they are all talking about morality obiara ka bi but obiara ne deɛ ɛda ne koma so ne sɛ deɛ osika no enti si yɛyɛ deɛ no yɛsi sɛ ɛyɛ Yesu di a ɛde example na Yesu ɛbɛhyɛ kyerɛ yɛn ɛwɔ se yɛhwɛ Yesu deɛ no na yɛdi so nti asɔre ne botaeɛ ɛne spirituality apart from nneɛma bebree a yɛyɛ bi yɛakyerɛ yɛbɛhunu spirituality ɛyɛ one of the main core value of the church na saa spirituality na yɛ follow the spiritual aspect of the Bible no ɛno na ɛma yɛn apply it to the moral practices no because deɛ wɔasua a akɔ mu no ɛno na asakra wo ama ututu w'anammɔn according to your spiritual values. That's it.
Okay, your moderator says no say impeccable English no, and then one fan, but Miss impeccable tree no, I rack a cry until impeccable for more. So the purpose of the church, my mother has explained what the church is, and our father has also said something about the purpose of the church. The little add is the Bible says that we are the salt of the earth and we are the light of the world. And therefore, as Christians, we are meant to influence the world in the right direction. We are meant to influence the world in the right direction. Even as we are leading others, even as we are the main thing is to lead many to Christ, we are also to influence the world in the right direction. We can take Joseph in the Bible when he was leading the people of Egypt to store food for the time of famine. It's not directly spiritual, but then it's also an influence that he, being someone who was working with God, had. And the little summary of Jesus' life also in his growth can also be explained. Luke 2:52. And Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. So Jesus Christ did not increase just spiritually, but his relationship with man, his intellectual capacity also increased. And so as a church, the focus is not just growing and influencing people spiritually, but generally in every direction that will help build a strong fiber of society. Thank you.
Yo, enti Madam Wase say, mitini ya, actually say, nyaya peki womuno. The church is an institution with leaders and members. Ubia wana said ya, that was all ye womu. Bible principles, we should be obedient, we should follow principles. Spirituality, yo gusu ye huade. Jewu, Okatu also say we should influence. It's our duty or our purpose to influence members or others. Sesia yegusu ye ni awuken yina awa sorry. And so immorality kwa na ekosoro. Enti make question e ba bi o mu say e ye nkyerɛkyerɛ no na ye problem no activities na ɛkɔ so wɔ asɔre dan mu ha no ɛna ɛyɛ problem no anaasɛ ɛyɛ den na ɛyɛ problem no because mfa w'ani nhwɛ nipa kakra na wɔyɛ kronkron no. Look at the bigger picture. 71%. And out of the 71%, a bigger picture out of that, we need to bang in any other aspect of life. Then, and I saw and I feed immorality. You wanna grab my it is starting to.
Okay, the role of the church in moral decadence. Because you know, me sure some catch parents say, oh, my friend, my son, ding. Yeah, my so catch so they seem to say, my friend, my son, the mumbuade. Yes, so they seem to include my by say, I can't see to a say, Mumma from my son, the mumbuade. Me sure some so many it's going to be a similar perception that they are going to have. So, the moral decadence is not something that is new. But it's a concept that I think every generation has always been saying it. The role of the church. The Bible makes us understand that the word of God is useful for rebuking and teaching people in righteousness. And so the Bible is supposed to help build us up in righteousness. And even as it's building us up, we are supposed to bear the fruits of the Spirit. And if you are bearing the fruits of the Spirit, it means you are supposed to live a morally upright life. But then, not all of us are bearing that fruit. Could be several factors. The church plays a role, all right, but there are other institutions that play a role. But I think tonight we are maybe talking a little bit about the church. Someone say the church is all of us, it's everyone, it's not just one Sunday service. Until I will say, yeah, dream, if you so say, I sorry, them nearby, or say a chair. I saw them nearby, I say, because the whole week, maybe most of us have Sunday pay. But then if we take the church outside the building, which is the temple, that's when the real influence will come. And I think it's about time most of us realize this, that our influence as a church is not when we are here as a building. Because the church is each and every one of us. So if we go out there and we are sharing the word of God, if we go out there and we are rebuking and correcting people in righteousness with the word, that is when we can see the church is influencing or building, helping curb this moral decadence. But if you are limiting the church to just Sunday, which most of us are doing, then every generation is always going to repeat the same to say, because you see, I call school teacher from the Omombo Mofrano. Into here, Christopher, I was school, I was here then. It's me church, and you say, Adia, we and yet, but in your manama institutions, and we've taken ourselves out. But if you are recognized that we as individuals, we are the church, and wherever we meet, we are representing the church, that's when we're able to curb this. But if we are looking at the church as Victory Presby, then every generation will continue repeating the same statement.
Thank you. Until free there. I was here who knows some of the moral decays na I can. See, I can see moral square there. A cherished value systems to say at the buo. Sebia, we are honest, just say, untrantro. Ubribia, but do nipa. Now, feel empathy for nipa. Dynamic two already, you must say, a second because she has so a quang cocoa is so baby. Now, a nipa na prepare guhono. Now, cromina ban a near manner, wahono no more fum. And one way Jenny Pana Eguho. No, will be say, eh, dear, say, baby, I say. Just say, ye need empathy, a moral be hospitality, hospitable, Sanka, who be a hop or Jenny fine. So, we be show respect, me da semi pow chow, sorry, and ask me pow chow no money, I don't know. ɛno ne saa mmɔrɔ yi no na saa mmɔrɔ yi no mo no nso a yɛkyerɛkyerɛ no deɛ nti a mpɛ sɛ yɛkyerɛkyerɛ no yɛhu no ɛno na ɛsɛe a ɛma yɛka sɛ ayɛ decay no te sɛ sɛ yɛmu adeɛ yɛfom adeɛ sika ani bere yɛ nkwalaa nketenkete koraa akɔgye sikaduro tumi de ne n'adamfo kɔ so wɔkɔpɛ sika ɛnom ne adeɛ nti ɛno no yɛhunu ne saa ne yɛhu sɛ ɛdeɛ na ama ne ɛreba saa ɛno ɛnyɛ asɔre ne nko a moral decay no anaasɛ moral akyerɛkyerɛ no ɛnyɛ baako sɛ asɔre ɛyɛ multi-faceted anaasɛ ɛdɔɔso deɛ di kan koraa yɛ family a yɛwɔ mu no yɛ family as a system no yɛsɛ courtesy begins at home efie na yɛfiri mu koraa nsa na yɛbɛba asɔre dan mu no ɛnteteɛ no kyerɛ sɛn wowo ba no wotete ne sɛn sɔre no putututu na onum wagya aba hɔ ɔbɛba na ondu waba abɛda sɛ akwalaa no yɛ ɛdɛn sɛ ɔyɛ ɛdɛn yɛnim obi ɛtea no nso abue first no wo maame nnua wo nana obiara tumi tea wo bi obiara ɛhwɛ wo nti woyɛ adeɛ na wo maame kora ehunu a yɛba a yɛbɛka ana ɔno kora bɛboro ansa na wo maame ba sɛsɛ yɛma wɔn mu adeɛ foreign culture no ɛyɛ yɛ dɛ nti borɔfo ɛne yɛ wɔn ka borɔfo na a wɔn ka no nso yɛ wɔn culture nti nneɛma pii wɔ mu a adebuo nim otumi ka kyerɛ ne papa don't be stupid ɔnyɛ no but I haven't even nka papa say don't be stupid untimi nka say papa we kwase ya na ade wait me and so I kind of brofo mu a so easy enti yantimi ntete ye ma no eyie ansa na o free family mu no akwa abonten enti ebesuru so obekwa abonten no wa say de daw enti oba sore ne kura ono kura be influence other people no kura ya tete wo mu yie wo mu fie no or sabese wo apart from family no school no nso wo bi first ne ya wo book bi a ye kan courtesy for boys and girls ye ko school a ye ne ya na ye kwa anopa ne awia na awia titiro ne achicha aman ne ye kan e kire moral principles bi a wo so ye ene ne ye kire civic education said e be ya wo be hu abrabo police fu adwuma said obeboa onyonko wo koto so obi ehia mo a obeboa na opani wutena ka mu a na opani ejina hɔ asɔre na fama no wo so oso ne ma gema na fa koja no saa ne ma ni nyina ye jai na material things even in the church ayesi kasam bebre anya Presby asɔre nko na meka all Christian believing churches no instead say ye be kyerɛ adeɛ nankasa ɛbɛma onipa ne kra na sesa na daakye wanya ɛsoro hɔ akɔ ne daa bi ewi ase sɛ obɛyɛ yie prosperity obɛyɛ yie no ne yɛkyerɛ ne yɛpɛ sika ne yɛato saa ne yɛma no agu enti onyi a ɔno nso ahia aba wi ase enti ɔpɛ sika enti kwan bia sɛntoro na obɛtwa o bribe na ɔbɛkɔgye o ɔbɛyɛ corrupt activities oniema ɔbɛyɛ bia ɔno nso bɛnya sika yɛ display flashy things see who be on social media no kra and abaya ne kan entare ahodo de ade akyekyere ye ho de ade say showing of cars ne into bia so kwan bia obia so befa so a obeye yie no eno na hia ne na nya heaven a okwa na asore na okọ asore no kra okọ no okọ akọ display ne wealth and into okọ into onie ayi a ode kire ne nyina kan so many others Intinya asore ne nko a na ema yesɛ no there are so many others the government have its own police judges obia wɔ ne de ye nyina yetimi kabom ne ye ne yi a em sɛ be yi kakra
yo niam enso de ka ho de sɛ wokaka sɛ asɔre na asɔre ne ye those of us here I mean individuals no na ɛyɛ asɔre no. If you have to blame the church, it means that you have to blame we the individuals. What it means is that, as I say, and sana yebetumi ama sa decay no efiri ho ana eso ateno. It means that we have to individually have a role to play. A baby starting from your family system, your ifie, from the nuclear family. Before I extend the answer, abɛka sɛ asɔre no ntumi ɛnyɛ bi nti we as yɛka asɔre nso ana we mean the Christians nti like I said earlier no ofa Bible na it is a total life it's a total way of life bibia wom nti Bible no be kyerɛw bibia na yɛyɛ na yɛnyɛ. So as humans we know what is good and what is bad. Nanso even though we know what is bad we still do it. Yenim say embra or say okoyi e bibia ye do be call police ye do be call court e bi wa ye do be tu fiase, but it still doesn't stop people from committing crimes that will lead them to prison. Nti eno ane say ye be koso aye nkyerɛkyerɛ na na ɛsɛ sɛ ye koso ye because we know say Bible tia ebia mimi apɛ as men, but still we still do it. Nti eno nkyerɛ eno nti no the church should continue to teach and remind us always as to the things we have to do and the things that we should not do. Nti the moral decay no we cannot take the church out entirely, and when I say church it is us that you can't take us out, because until we have been able to fully accept the say ennyoma yebeya enye no no, then we have to continue say yebeya church. Nti mama can be about courtesy for boys and girls. Of course at our age we all use it until we know maybe the young ones na I'm better. It's a church. Those of us that went to boarding schools, there are a lot of things that we learned from school, not from home, and not from church. But ni no a church say with me pick those things that are acceptable in society, the values that are acceptable in society now, and ebema decay no so ati. Now when you go out there and two people are even fighting or something, you won't get anybody trying to separate them. All you see is phones. No be actually phone no chat. All of us have 10 photographers. Instead of trying to separate and then bring peace, broker peace, on your side, instead of becha. Now or they are to social media. So these are things that we should continue. Now where we are to in society, whether we like it or not, times have changed. D50 system say there are a lot of things that now our children at their ages they can do. At our time there was no way we could have done that. Inti a normal call fast. Inti I say we as Christians and as elders no ye ni akomo frano ho. Now we continue to direct them as to the things that they should do and things that they should not do. Now anko fa how I'm blessed society, because it is from these little things and with the boomer affected the development of the society. We eat in our cars, we and then all we do is to throw it out when the car is moving. These are simple things that, and can say we expect people say obi be catch or say you can't do that, but people will do it. People will do it. In church as I say a koso, and the church has a major role, because it is only in the church that you try to be more holy and pious kakra, because we I saw the man, environment in my baby catch us a hard day where I am there. There are some things I cannot do here. And see, the fact that that's whom to me catch us a hard day, baby, or I want to me, you know. Now, as I say, when we step out there, we should have carried the same way of life out there. Thank you to me, and some of these immorality, moral decadence, all of these things, and car a subeti, inferiority, but in case subeti, into and church and a yabba coso at church. Thank you.
Papa no mama no me da wase. Na me question ni answers here be. Ni amafa kakra wo mu no say and it's a question. And you know say no. Na was say e ka say family plays a play part e wo entity we mu. Entity we mu ne akwa. Say ka say family and society and ya sorry no kwan church and e moldu yen ya na baby ayeti and ne papa ka say ura gate no wo sorry I use you as an example urunya rura mu pe a wo ne ye ni usuba nyina sesa enti no then the question is yemfa asori no ntu a won wo abonten wa na yemfa asori no ntu a won police station ho yemfa asori no ntu a won parliament house ho yemfa asori no ntu a won school mu ho do we go back to back then yeah you call Presby school so no uko school anopa it say na wa asori dem we read to him or bomba you go through liturgy to say yeah you was pepe answer we run classroom no why you sign they say ni obium because ori kase abofra no afra na wa ba no kwa ne papa di na echi aba be kase me ba ne de omompa yo me ba ne de yonkwa asoro me ba ne de me twen no di 18 ono atwusu ba bi obekọ ni nyina account na ne emere koso it be question say yemfa asoro no yenye ne den say yemfa ntu a won afia fi mu yemfa ntu a won anwuma mu yemfa ntu a won parliament house ana yenye ne den papa cho no wa ba ana mama be betu aso na mate
it does MC at the better indirectly because wow 70% of the society are Christians. In every institutions in Ghana there are Christians there. And young show ya juma onyame de acha yensa ne say ya betwetwe afoforo ya be kire you know unsa wo start here on be frefre osofo say we wa adwuma mu ni ade na a woman flesh we say ma waka ne anhyerɛn e we nipa mu ni yahu ni ye pa e na afa ye bota nso kire say ye efie ni dwa aso ne ba bia ye ma ye ka ne anhyerɛn wo ho enti baby bia Christopher wo no ye wa adwuma asodie dan so baby a wo no omo ya enye bi enso tora bi a ye koka omo ho because wa anya bi a ye besresrew ama udin enti ne akoka omo ho ye nhunu kura sa wo ye Kristo ni you hu edi sa wo ye Kristo ni na kire omo se de mu ye enye Bible kire se enti tem bi a Bible no mane enwo wo bag mu edwom na awa enwo ho office na awa court na awa parliament o enwo ho wo hunu se wo nua bi echi a pre no na tretene no won tretene no so a your own example should let the person change sometimes obi betimi ehunu afro bi say e dey asore na wokọ ana abiribi because we hunu ni ya bi wo mu a obi aya wo de wonye bi enso wo prosper mo a kire ne se onyame na aya wo sa because onyame said that papa can obi ani ho osum nyankopon boka enti wo sum ne sincerely obe hira wo sincerely enti ma wa fakọ yamfa nkokọ ye nyina asenke ye adwuma asade ye kire se church no enya asofo ne nko ana ye obi ano ye nyina ye kọ ne ye ya bebre asekakra na first one na me pese me de bribi ka first one ka wonim se sa Decay moral bad moral yin ebi won so aye de wo hereditary and a curse from the family and everybody obi wo ho abusua ne bia ne ya curse wo omo dia ne so omo dia mu ne dia ne se onom nsa oda bia ne onom nsa ne dia ne se opema ne ade ebi wo ho a ye dia wo na na se a curse bia aya awo ntoatoaso na ni nyina so gina ya asore ne because we are spiritual you know and most of the time no so they are organizing revival near man no ya nyire ye ho no such people no yɛmmɔ mpaeɛ ma wo and deliver wɔn because ɛnyɛ n'ani na ɔde yɛ ɛyɛ biribi a ɛnyɛ ɔno na esua ebi koraa bɔne no koraa ɛnyɛ ɔno na ɔyɛɛ nso akɔ no nti na yɛatete no obi kɔ awareɛ wɔ first a yɛkɔ awareɛ sɛ hwɛ fie no ansa na wakɔ mu bɛkɔ awareɛ a yɛahwɛ fie no efie hafo ɔmo deɛ ɛda bi ɔmo bɔ dam efie ha ɔmo deɛ ɔmo kum nipa efie ɔmo yɛ ɛyɛ yi nti yɛn asɔre no nso ɛyɛ asodi si ɛbɛbɔ mpaeɛ ama such people ne yɛtumi deliver wɔn na onyame n'asɛm no wura wɔn mu wɔn bɛsesa na wɔn nso atumi asesa wɔn family no mu ayi wɔn afiri saa kɛse no daase.
Okay, for Mr. Kakra and Pesha Medica on say, I think it's a specialized job. Nanye free for all, just like that. For instance, Ufa Sebia Trokusi, and they have a system there, and you want to just send the gospel there. It's a specialized work where you need an NGO with specialities in those areas. I was reading something about Baptist Church when they were delivering the Trokusi system. In fact, for each shrine, they spend about $5,000 just to work around one shrine. And the number of shrines in just that locality, you can imagine. And Omo Kono, so they prepare very well. So for men's fellowship and women's fellowship, we can adopt, say, the jail system or the school system. And how are we going to approach it? Now I'm inviting Crawford to help us know how to communicate to those people. Because sometimes we see people and we condemn them straight away. In this case, you're short. Because of that, it not same fata. And if you wrong house. If you don't see it in a certain perspective, it becomes very difficult. It means it calls for specialization. It calls for proactive work from the church. Say, be a sorry, nakasabe, or the better so. You have a prison service, what prison ministry. We even have a palace ministry in the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, which is very fantastic. So we, as a group, or as a church, can adopt one of this as a focus work that we are going to do.
Okay.
Interactive program. Major answers in the chain. So far, maybe 3 or 4 questions. Say means I repeat mamma, and I'm from answers in Shamu. Or can say repeat my BJ answers in the chain. So we're taking notes that answer there, and I'm a sermon. Jewu can say repeat, Mariba Moncha BJ answers for the same questions now, maybe some more contribution. But was
okay. Yesha say, Mama can say morality is a set of beliefs and principles that guide how people understand like what is right and wrong. That helps people to know what is right and wrong. That's a summary. So so sometimes some things in general might seem right to a certain group, but then with our beliefs it's wrong. Let's take Eastern and Europe, Eastern and Western Europe. Western Europe, lying is a big crime. Eastern Europe is a bit normal. Western Europe, sexual immorality is normal. Eastern Europe is not normal. So sometimes, depending on where you are, it also influences certain characters that you have. But then in comes our faith, and therein comes our morals, therein comes our standards as Christians. That we are taking from the Bible. And the question is, should we take the church from the temple to our institutions? We'll take one man in the Bible, with whom we know as Daniel. Daniel was moved from Israel to Babylon, and they had their own culture, they had their own things that they seemed right. And Daniel and his friends decided to do what is right in the eyes of God. So indirectly, they've taken the church from Israel to the kingdom of Babylon. They faced opposition, because it's whatever you are doing to be obvious for everyone to know. But even as the trials came, even as they were tempted, even as they were thrown into fire, even as they were thrown into the lions, he was thrown into the lions den. People got to know that there's something of value that they are holding on, and then decided to even follow. That it became a law that everyone should follow the God of what? Daniel. So as Yesha has said, the church is not the building. The church is us. And so wherever we go, as Mama said, we should let our lights shine. And even as we are doing that, just like in the days of Antioch, the people began, that's when the people began to call them Christians, because they were reflecting what? Christ. So some things will be cultural to some people. Even as we are going out and we are leaving our comfort zone here. And so we should not be quick to condemn, but then rather find ways and means by which we can influence them with that which we've learned and that which we know that it is right in the sight of God. So that's what I want to add up to it.
That's it. That's it. What you imagine see? So, say, sa question maybe say, ne answer ne tinti mo ane say. I was say, yema yensubang ne dia dance because obstacles ni bebre say na woka no. Obi a ne say no na yes, yenya ya nanka ye nyina ya Christopher. Yenya nanka ye nyina go by the Bible. But say na we asena kwa koye no. Na emu say yema yensubang yen kane ne hyiren yie na obi ehu say baby a ne aye ye adi no ne aye je na di no wa ma ye ho atewa ye benya foforo nso na won so won asesa fi won ne ye bi hu na won so won abeka ye ho me da se papa yeah papa no ne mama no se na me kan no yen question I edi kan no was the role of the church and tipamcho so obi wo bi a odebe kan ho a tipamcho I already see a bit.
Okay, let me take the first shot. There are maybe some business say. As far as we are modernization. In principle, the principles of the Bible have it changed? Certainly not. The Bible says, "Don't steal, don't gossip." It has given us the instruction as to how we should live. But do we follow that? Today, those who are able to give huge sums of money, whether in church or in our family, are the ones we are held, without questioning the source of their income. Those who are a bit old will tell you that growing up, when you are given one cedi by an unknown person outside, when you go home, your parents will match you to that fellow and ask why he gave you the money. Or is it true that he or she gave you the money? But do we do those things now? We claim we are Christians. Like President said, the church is us. It's the people in that makes the church. What has been our Christ-like? Let me end with this. There's a mission school. Some of us who went to mission school were molded. So today, you go elsewhere and someone will ask you, who called Basra now? You say yes. But what do we see today? A sorrowful nankasa yes, yeah, sorrowful no. Entity de mayemba. Maame to papa to ne baba didi na we general na to no our friend house girl and now made so mefa. What kind of training are you giving to that child? There was an incident in one of the schools. Yaka kan dia na no ya yija wo mpa no eye o Kristoni. Na sem ba ko kan ya me wi mfida. Na repam the man no so koda no dwen ho a bia. Say wa bransa onya ba. Em so Mr. Bisa o. Wa bransa wonya ba nti no. Oba na wa ye kromfo. Sabi wa ye bodani. Onfona bodam ne nkosa nkafo ana. Twifo obi say odwan ba ko don twuma o de sa ndwan na. Nti e besre. Yen sha sin frifie. Na yen mana nkwa na eba no ehu se sika ye brands ye nya na so no so hu se so obi ba na obede yame ase na ye hwe ni age ye hwe bebi ofi eduma be na oye ansa na sa anyoma na eba na do abedina so den nim na ye bom pai mo mu no emwa ntimo yen sesa
I'm say, who ask them who be saying questions I remember my audience in Medangano. So now your next question was on that. Say, how can the church balance the moral teachings with the complexities of modern society? And I know to my audience, you say, you better na assurance share, you know. And it's any we are seeing a danga by say, no, near my modern, near my sister, near my sister and I take an ibium. And they say, you better near the assurance share, no, a balance it, send we are no, I say, you know. In the patrol, me answers in a few more.
Yo, Medasi. Senior, sorry, Nisha, no bet to me, Abua, Eviaseno. Or say, Yama, Nina Ejina, Unyamia Sema, Yabefa, na ye di asemono so, na Yama asemono, Aeden, Adedi, Ewo, Bibia, Yabekumu. Seni na eka no asori dem hade yeba ebeji ahoden ebeji ntitiye ede kwa bontin ekoye senia erade sie enkoye. But we shouldn't forget and say we are not fighting against flesh and blood. We are fighting against principalities. You know, John 10:10, Jesus said, I came to destroy the works of the devil. The devil ndi obai so be we obekum no abesai. Nti no ye hu se eye ose hu se eye akuna it's a war. You know, Christianity is a war. When you understand it like that, ma wusu nya wo source wa ho odin efrim no wo ben nyame ye a eno na ma wusu nya ho odin na wan ben nyame ye wan si ketekrachi say me ben nyame a I'm telling you you will be a joker and the ekobia wusu be kobi enti se na eka no say ye hwe nyame Kristo ni esuan no o say ye ma ye mpa bo mu ye den Emma, yet no a fearsome. I mean, we are a year to send your way, Papa, Woma, they are learning from you more than even the church. Or see you will fear and I say, Womano, Omunina, no, Papa, no, when ye no more Eshe, Obo and the Papa, sorry, and Wabo born and Mammy, Sumofisa, Noma, Obabi Subeni, Ubos Wakowari, na, or no so the Sa Subino, not the cock. Intimoma ye mompa yen serade na yendi na chiye me gidi se yesa beboa yen bedase
Pacho de meme de beka hono eme se panelists na ka bidada. But kakra me nso mehu no odoboa pa se baby aye wo bia no yetumi da Kristo do no edi echre ebia onipa kor na yen ye fi se ekwan onam so no entwa ye yetumi chre Kristo do no se wotumi ebe nipa no na wo chre no Kristo do na ono a ebedu baby no onya sa ne tie ne se debi baby amenam no mihia bibi inti ono ampo ebi obeba oho na we bisa o se inti wu Kristo no otesen eno ana me de beka ho
Achawa o person for bibi kan no mo asem the mic no ba.
Okay. Anti Madam Wasi Papa say make question na my answer no amare. So we come back, we are almost on the last question. So near the hobby, what are some of the specific initiatives? Sorry, no, bet me aye. Now, what they are addressing this moral decay. Morality acquire for me. What are some of the specific initiatives? We should be specific with this answer.
Okay. Mimi Felice, for instance, radio ministry, yeah, adaptee. It's another beautiful way. If you watch our online platform now, we are increasing the number of traction. And you see, as a church, the charismatic circle are doing way better. And they started way earlier. COVID and they're jumping on. And I think that is one of the tools we can use because most of us, instead of watching TV, I don't know the last time I even watched TV. but I'm always on my phone. So if we can meet people there with the gospel, I think it can change a lot. And most of the youth, there's no way that they will sit in front of TV now. Just observe them carefully. They don't sit in front of like the way we used to do. Now they are on their phone, and it's not like they are roaming. They are just searching. So if we can meet them halfway there, that will be okay. So as a church, I think we need to invest heavily on online platform. Make sure it's very interactive and very engaging. That will help. I mentioned the issue about prison ministry, which is also good. The palace ministry is also a specialized wing that as a church we can adapt. We can do more. We can do even at the station. Christmas, Easter party, we can just do it at the station and meet people, ordinary people. Trade people who are, and if you watch, just my last point so my people can come in. People who are learning trade, which are normal microphone chain and no this year the pama na baby. Pocket money they don't have. So exposure to decadence is really, really high. So if you go, it's the madam who commands, there are plenty. Lunch, when you get to lunch, those who have boyfriends are the people who buy lunch. They don't have. Assuming that we have that ministry where we can even go and do ministration and support them, find a way to support them in a way, regularly as we do at the prisons, I think that will also help. So there are clear-cut initiatives that as a church we can adapt and to help us. If the church is not doing it, then the various groups can do it, and we can even mention in our activities, end of year report, now I say, yeah, we have adopted this and we are supporting them. The church will applaud us. So I think that there are a lot we can do. Thank you.
That's the day come and say inequality no is so high. Just say here for pa near sika for majority no any sika and think sorry no within our sorry now can identify people who need help, especially financial help. Near Mwawom. Now, on Sunya Bribi Kakra, because of all you know, be or what, Sabi, or Bob Raboni, or your bar, or Bob Raboni, because the obedient ayading, and then unkita 20 cities breakfast, a crowd to me 20 to 30 cities, and somewhere the breakfast. And tea or back or torn, do or quite sorry, a canning in our tea, or tipapa, but was an in Sakonano. Into a back or swab Bob Rabon and into identify almost an abia, your mom, jetry, any idea. And Miss Onusu, ewo bribia or ya, and into our brofon or mobile. It's not only the gospel, no pair and I saying ya Miss Semono, almost the material you know, church or more be a Greek carpentry, way, trade at the car. Said a bear almost solve poverty situation. No almost solve almost in Yamenon so mawom. Tiabeting ya outreach program and so aqua bonte community service. Na yak cancer panel nafe ya kind things. Just said the near ma aquamma near the Yamisamon so akam. That's it.
Okay. To me, Christianity is influence, and people's morality are influenced by diverse factors. Let me start from here. This week, I'm sure a lot of us watched Tyler Perry's movie Straw. Okay, if maybe this is not my audience. But Tyler Perry released the movie Straw, and a lot of people watched it. Tyler Perry is a Christian writer. If you take Tyler Perry out, how many other Christian writers or movie producers are of influence in the world? Few. Ebu White came, so now every quarter, some people can decide to spend the weekend to go at the National Theatre to watch his play. And they have influence. How many Ebu Whites do we have? Few. So even as we are thinking about the traditional ways or sharing the gospel, there are other ways by which we can attract people to that will also make equal impact, that will also transcend boundaries. So just like Tyler Perry is influencing people through his movie, Ebu White through his stage plays, we as Christians should also we should specialize in whatever we are doing. That's when we can make impact. We should whatever profession that we are in, I'm sure now there are a lot of people who are looking at up to Ibrahim Mahama, or people are talking of Dangote, because what? They've also grown in influence. So just like how some people are influencing the media, some of us who can decide that, okay, I also grow and then influence the media through Christian writings and or through content that will mold us. So we should not just look at word of mouth, but if just as Mr. Bratio also said, that online presence, these are things that people watch online, the movies, skits and co. And so if you're able to get good ones, quality ones, and then we also have these same Christians, we as Christians market these online stuff or market these plays. We have a big stage and we could also host our own play, maybe once a month or a quarter. It will also bring people in this community because not everyone goes to Ebo White. National Theatre cannot host all of us, even though he has it maybe 3 times a day. So we should also look at unconventional ways by which we can influence people, even as we want to help curb this moral decadence. Thank you.
Thank you too. Audience, please, would you want to add more specific initiatives that the church can do to reduce the rate of immorality? Yeah.
I'm saying, Bible can't, I will Deuteronomy chapter 4. Now, most say, A2, I did it for no for say, more fear, one church Ramomano. Nyankopon asem mama nyame asem infiri manum mondwen ho ono pawiane anajo eno ne besim ye that is Joshua 1:9 nti mo behwe atete no ye ko esi no o mo kire ese ye wo ye ma ye no mo ntena fie nche nyame asem nti eno so eyade a ebo a ye time no na ni mofa ne tena fie ubetumi afase bia no pa no be morning devotion quickly na ansa no makwa na nwumre na mo ba beda no na mo twankwala no na family ni nyina se house of obi o ka ho bia papa mama utifie na ye kyerɛkyerɛ nkwala no se nam se esan se ne ya ko bia pensam ye de nkwala ni ko so bi num kra tumi nya ne nkwala no be 5 am 5:30 on baba no ma bre on be ye hu gigigigi no mada enti apart from some mobile Sunday school ne ya kyerɛm bia Bible quotation ba ko ana mienu no efie ye se charity begins at home efie ankasa na Christopher ye nya time enkyerɛ ye ma no nyame asem gidi sese na ne ma ko sese no se ye betu ye hofo na ye nana ye ntumi ankyerɛ ye ma no kra ye nana no ma esisu na omo ba no ye nkasa nkyerɛ awofo no no mo pet time mo fa nkyerɛ nkwala no a little time mo betu afa no pa na nwumre ne akyerɛ mo nyame asem se na Bible ka se ye fie kra ye nkyerɛ nyame asem embobo ye wo ho ye fie bia na akyerɛ gate na no se na Deuteronomy 4 no e ka no ye yesa me gidi se asem ni wura akola nim no dinyi a ono so be kyerɛ ne ma na ye nto ato so bo se generation no na enema esesa kakra se na 71% of Christianity no so etumi nya impact that one say.
I know that at least when I was on session around 2014, 2015, a deliberate effort was made to get the youth to be involved in church activities. So I think we set up the second Sunday in the month, they were to hold organize a church service in the afternoon. But I don't know what became of that. I know later on they moved into the PINA block. And again, the use of sports. They were allowed to play football with other teams. They traveled to Akosombo and to other places. And through that, at least they were supposed to be sharing the word whilst engaging in the sporting activity. So if we encourage peer mentoring, I'm sure that would greatly work. And they were also given the opportunity to lead. And so when they are allowed to lead, at least they will set the example for others. And I don't know if I go to this congregation, it's not a typical Presbyterian church where they'll sit on the rights of the youth, but rather you'll find a colleague or someone of your age taking active part in church service. And so when we continue with those things, I believe that it would greatly help and then get people out of trouble. They would learn, and then that would be an additional means of knowing the word and then keeping and living it.
Ye fire sorry eso papa nipa womo ye sure say e be 2000 plus da bia na papa etai ade bi woni muni oto unsa benkum unsa nifa bisane dini ade misu ye se ye pese ye influence ye ho a na won a won wo positive values influence won a won de wo fam a emra so say ye behwe se ye betumi aye home cell groups and ye nipa a wo fa akokakra bi ya pe nipa mienu bi o mbeda wo ano a ye hwe wo ankasa se won asetra no abra botesen a nipa no a ebehia on fie anani ni fie no obeye obi a obetimi ayodi kanfo pa aye hweso pa ama won a eka ho se anya sa na se ye befrafra bebre na hwete samobi akọ ni fie a nia ekoso ewo ye phone so de ekoso o TV so ne ekoso o mountain so ayema ni yankasa yehu ye bekoso asoa de abasori dem ye bekoso amana dadi ewo yen asetra ne abrabo mu aponten enti yen hwe se okwan papa ne betimi afa so a yen individuals no ye betimi make a positive impact on others, especially the youth. May us.
Yo, Papa, yes, we are say. Discussion, you know, ye baby no ha. Na, the last question, hona assembly tini na ne ho. We say, the aye na ni a solution. And the last answers are very we say. She said they make a church in America, ma church, no say, I sorry, baby, I yeti. Near my baby bossy. Papa, and I saw him pen for one, Pam Johnson, more, I move a pen. Now, more church or my. Now say, make a yam say, a being a BSA and nine be a woman, say a bit one among her, and then sacribe baby, papa. Ain't he, yeah, well, other modern forms of spreading the gospel, radio ministry. The society getting involved with what the society does to share social activities, to share the gospel and the good news. Mama can say, and ya sorry no kwaduma groups no so you say you fa to yen so na yen so kakra ye betumi aye no ye de boa. Mama san can say be inequalities in the church, how to bridge that gap. And no, they personally no may appeal kakra me won say papa me sew ma kwan wo baby na se asore e wo mi panfu ekukudam wo mu pa na enwuma efu akese wo mu pa enti ye be sere se e ba se vacancies e ba wo nwuma mu a won famra ha maye na ye nso ye ntibi na ye nga fe ne ye hwehwe adwuma ye nga ye hwehwe se ye resan ye nwuma no ye nso ye nya kwanya ni bi na ye ba won so sa no fa ye nwram won ma ye first opportunity woma yen so opportunity le sanse yen mu fi asori nti na ye qualify nti na me jetum se obi wa ha na so rebo brabo ni bi ana ne ye ni suban rekɔfom esan ahokyere ne yɔkɔm so onya kwan wa adwuma bi mu a no so beboa na enu akɔfom nti we dey me personal appeal pa me ka dey support mama asem okan ne so opportunity ne ba mpamcho moma yente na yen so yen apply na se mu ya apply so a mu so yen sa na mu fa yen kɔ you cell meetings. Charismatics no worry pa and it's working. Cell meetings. There are some Sundays I don't even go to church at all. They have their cell meetings in their homes with their leaders. Ereboa papa nti ni papa kan no say ye behwe ho no so a ebeboa peer mentoring, giving the youth and also the chance to lead church service and do other church activities. Baby, I'm if I'm a peace congregation where Kropon youth no kuane sorry. Papa tia kumwem. And I want mentor from children's service. There are some days at children's service and yet children's week. But children's service will come and read the Bible, preach, lead liturgy, do everything. So say there's the children's service choir or for it. That's what peace is doing in the Kopon. And in Yamama Kano, a boa papa. And I can bet you say, Abu Frebia Bejina hair preachy, Aqua Bontia, Nene ye different because when him say, Baby Bejina no. On your ordinary view, and it's helping. And he, yeah, the young Bessiwa. Now, Papa Chow, more be a more account, and I say, be a UK. Martin, my account.
That's it. Ebra, who can say, said, dear, sorry, near you know, we are CIA, you know. Not me, say, Presbyterian, sorry, minimum the entire. So obi ya de wo abonten no o asori no akoye biribi ya ye ne kataso muamu aso ye ntwene nsan se asori foforo bi no moye ye betwe wasan ya na ebe wa akotena akire na me wa example e wa asori a me free mu wo kuromi monidin a me baaye a o police ni ogige nkrofo sika bebre so obem ya form wo police mu sika ne doso e na ye hunu ye nti ye run atare wo police asori mu. Unfortunately for him, no asapupeni wa asori mu. Tell you say oba confident no aba asafupeni meeting ni ade. Ni aka say there be we a good example because obi eni mo asori hu na we asori asafupeni we be preach and abeye nti ye ka kire no say on ye omra asori but asafupeni ni de ye mo onye no omra asori pa. What's the day be one tea or influence other people who are say, hey, no way there's in a dream, no way, ya, some or ya, some sorry mu, or ya, some are sorry muna, marching aside, dear, to all encouraging no jaya sorry. O jaya sorry no call one man churches where nibble so many a year and so forth. Tini subano kitemua, dear, no dear, Mempasa meka, and we ain't papa. Enti I was say you Presby will be woman or ya dear be nya katasuma I was here nya eagle eye. Na yaka ya can ye cry and country penny for no friend yanka near cano ye ye buano emisa no and shut there any Presby I was say be a titim and then I'm a person with the that's
I can understand her radical position. If a church of Catholics crowd ya jais hard, you know. This our church, say issues be bar, they have a nice way of handling them at various levels. And you may not necessarily see that radical approach, say a QB sign, konakotra, or just orange way. And as a church, there's a way those things are handled by session. And it's nicely done in such a way that then life moves on quietly without any noise and anything, and it's been effective in this church. And I think I will encourage the church to keep doing that. Even the ministers, sometimes when things go wrong, they have a subtle way of handling them without necessarily coming to do display here. And as I saw it, the victory pass. We have our system that handles that, and the church will be encouraged to keep doing that. Thank you very much.
Papa Irase. Etina ebadamase. Wase mode munim de aba be chire yenso ye hye mo say nia yesuan ye rekwa akoye adwuma ye be ma yen kane ahire na afofo nso ahu ewrade dwuma pa odi wo ye mu eti ye da mase audience ye da mase papa
mo
Ora
abusiafo mo yem nsema yempanyifo abra omotena se ba nsema mo. baabi a yɛduru ɛwɔ dwumadi no so no yɛbɛgye afɔre enti yɛbɛhyɛ sister Stella na wabɛdi anim na yɛabɔ afɔre ahyɛ nyame anuonyam yɛnnwumadie ɛdɔɔso ɛwɔ men's fellowship mu bebree enti woyi a na wayi no bafu na wode apia yɛn ne ayɛ ama no ayɛ yie ɛmɛma nyinaa
Mon canfo nyankopon, mo enum ne kom